Thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. Now, I just got off the road a couple days ago. One of my boys called me over and said, hey, why don't you come on over and we can watch some football? So listen, I'm still a little tired from being out on the road. Wanted to come up with something super simple to cook, and I wanted to go through some of the food I already had in my house. So what I did was, I knew I had a bunch of this chicken breast chunk meat that I got. I keep this with me when I'm on the road. So I wanted to incorporate that. So what I did was I got online and I started Googling leftover chicken recipes or canned chicken recipes, and I stumbled across this website called Natasha's Chicken, or Kitchen, excuse me, and she had a Southwestern chicken dip this kind of inspired me to make this. I'm going to leave a link to that recipe in the description below, but this recipe is going to vary from that recipe a bit. So, what are we going to need to hook this up? Now, first of all, let me just tell you, this looks like it's going to be super easy. So if it's something that you need to cook for a Super Bowl party or something like that, this is probably going to be something that I would keep in rotation. So what are we going to need? We have some canned chicken. In her recipe, she used jalapenos, some jarred jalapenos. I'm going to be using some diced green chilies, and I'm doubling that up. I'm using a couple cans of those. She did not use black olives, but I think black olives are going to be really good in this. Some corn. She used regular corn. I'm going to use some fire roasted corn and black beans. And we're going to be draining the liquid off of all of these. We're also going to be using some cream cheese, some sour cream, and she used, I think, a cheddar cheese. What I'm going to be using is this queso cheese or whatever by Walmart, great value. Some Parmesan cheese, and then I have this canned salsa that we're going to use to kind of top it off with. Now, most of these were ingredients that I already had on hand, which is why this recipe works out really well. So what I'm going to do before we get started cooking, I'm going to open up all these cans, drain the liquid, and then we'll start knocking it out. So the best thing about this dip is it is super quick because we're going to be cooking it in a skillet. Now, if you'd like, you could soften up this cream cheese and then mix all these ingredients together and throw them in a casserole dish and get them in the oven, but this is going to be a lot faster to do. So really, our first step is just going to be to get our cream cheese in our skillet, and I have our skillet on about a medium heat right now. And then we're going to add our sour cream. And we're going to blend this up until it's kind of incorporated well before we add our cheese. And if I didn't mention it before, all my ingredients and amounts are going to be in the description below. And now that we have this pretty much incorporated, we still have a few more chunks, but they're going to melt down really good. We're going to add our cheese. So I need a cup of Parmesan cheese, which is going to be most of this bag. A cup and a half of our queso cheese, which is going to be most of this bag. And we're going to continue stirring until all this is melted. So now our cheese looks like it's incorporated in well. Now really all that we need to do is basically just toss in the rest of our ingredients. The only ingredient I'm not going to add is that salsa, which we're going to kind of top it with at the end. I did rinse these beans. And I think that the green chili just adds a nice depth of flavor that you may not get from jalapenos, but I am a jalapeno fan myself. I could have gone either way on that. So there we go. I'm going to incorporate this well. I'm going to let this come to a real nice simmer. Let all that stuff kind of incorporate in there. Maybe for about, I don't know, 10 minutes should be enough. And then we'll plate them up. So we've let this cook for about 10 minutes. I did taste it, and it could use some salt. I think some oregano would be, either dried or fresh oregano, and this would be good as well, but let's just keep it simple and go with a little bit of salt. Stir this in. And you're not going to want this to be on too high of a heat because you don't want it to start scorching, you know, the dip. So this is a little bit loose right now. What's going to happen, I'm going to turn this down. It's going to tighten up a little bit. Now that this has had a chance to cool down for a little bit, it's thickened up. So I'm just going to add them to our serving dish. Like I said, this could be something that you make ahead of time. Take to a party, throw it in a casserole dish. We're just going to put them in these bad boys right here. And thought I had another spoon over here. We're just going to add a little bit of this salsa to the top of it. Now all I'm going to do is we're going to serve this up. Now I'm just going to eat this with some celery sticks. You could use tortilla chips would probably be best, but that's how I'm going, is with them celery sticks. Let me finish getting the rest of these made up and we'll taste it, see what's up. So guys, that's what it looked like all plated up. Now that salsa that I got that I was going to put on the top of it for a little bit of color, that stuff was a little bit too thin, so I just mixed that whole can in with the rest of this mixture, and then I just topped it with a little bit of dried cilantro and some red pepper flakes. So I plan on taking this to a friend's house to watch some football, so I am going to put the rest of what I made in a plastic container, take it over to his house, throw it in a casserole dish, and heat it up there. But let's taste it now and see what's up. Like I said, I'm using celery here. Man, you can't go wrong with this. As a matter of fact, this gives me an idea for another recipe. I may not be able to do it during this time while I'm home, but next time I run through, I might be able to knock it out then. Before I take this other bite, I want to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.